I don't know if any of you out there can relate to me on this, but I've been doing some patio furniture shopping here lately, and I am stunned at the prices. I'm in the market for something sturdy, rustic, but deep set. And as I got to looking at all the designs, they look kind of simple. I thought I can probably make that, and that's exactly what I did. And what I'm gonna do is help you build $6,000 patio furniture for only 2,000 bucks. Okay guys, I just got back from Home Depot and we picked up all the material for this project. And let me tell you, it's a lot. Let me show you. So originally I ordered 12-foot pieces and they only had 16s. So I actually had to chop all this down with a chainsaw just to fit it on my trailer. And I know it looks scary, it looks like a lot, but trust me, it's not that bad. I can't wait to get started, so let's go. Okay, let's dive into the details of this outdoor furniture. Even though it may sound backwards, where I chose to start is with the cushions, because they're the most important part. First of all, you want to get them in your hands so you can actually get a good measurement on them and make sure the couch fits. Also, you wouldn't really go buy a couch without sitting on it first, would you? So specifically, these are deep set, thick memory foam, Sunbrella fabric cushions. I was able to pick these up online. So now we can talk about all the power tools that we're gonna need for this project. So for today's build, we really don't need that much equipment. We're just gonna use a simple power drill, an impact driver, a palm sander, and our chop saw over there to cut all our material to length. The one piece of equipment here that I'm gonna use that maybe not everybody has is this router. And the reason I've chosen to use it is because I'm gonna use it to put this mitered edge on all of our pieces. I think it really adds a bit of style to our design and makes things look really clean and sharp. If you don't have access to a router, you can go pick one up at your local hardware store. If you don't think you'd get a lot of use out of it though, just feel free to go rent it for the day. I mean, I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks. All right, so now for the whole point of today's build, the meat and the potatoes. We are here to build some cool outdoor furniture. So we really don't need that much material. It's a pretty simple build. We've got these 8x8 timbers that I'm gonna use to stack on top of each other as our sides or our arms. We're gonna use one 2x12 for the backrest, and then we'll use simple 2x4s to make a little base for the bottom cushions to sit on. Other than that, a little bit of strapping to hold the cushion up, and that's it. We're gonna start, step one, we cut down these big beams. Step two, we miter all the edges. Step three, we glue and screw it together. 4, we're gonna assemble the base. Step 5, we cut the back for the backrest. Step 6, we'll probably go ahead and stain it next, just while all the pieces are disassembled. 7, we'll need to attach the webbing for the cushions to sit on. And then step 8, we assemble it and enjoy it. Option A is 8th grade science fair. We're lighting Bunsen burners. Option B is Ant-Man. Bunsen burners it is. All right, so this is completely normal, but when you have such big pieces of timber, whether it be the 8x8 or if you chose the 6x6, you're gonna have to flip these things over to make a cut all the way through. These saws just won't go through on once. So now we're gonna use this router. I chose this because this is a very cool tool, really. You can change these bits on the bottom and they can make any sort of shape, any kind of decorative trim edge. With this design, I just chose a simple, clean chamfer or a miter, but you can do as ornate a design as you want, which is what's really cool about these things. The only real tip that I would tell you about using one is make sure that you cut in the opposite direction of the blade rotation. Okay, so at this point, we've now cut, mitered, and sanded 3 of our 8x8 timbers. These are enough to make one armrest of one side of either a couch or the chair that we're building. So the next step is to join them all together. We're gonna do that with these lag screws. So what I'm gonna do now is lay out the pilot holes for those screws and start putting these things together. So there's no exact science to this. I'm not even using my tape measure. I'm just kind of laying them out side by side and eyeballing it. The one thing I will say is take a look at the pieces that you're using and make sure the prettiest one is gonna be your top piece, which means the way that we have it, the bottom of this, which is our prettiest one, will be the top. Another piece of advice, take it really slow or use a corded drill, because these things are pretty tough to drill through. So now that I've got all the pilot holes drilled, I'm just gonna squirt a little glue on here and start stacking them together and screwing them together. So once we started putting these things together, I kind of ran into a little issue. I drilled the pilot holes very deep in the piece of stock with the intention of getting this lag bolt really deep in here so it can grab the next piece of wood. What I didn't think about was the fact that I'm gonna need an extender to still drive that screw all the way in. So just make sure that you have some type of extender on your impact. Okay, so that wraps up construction of one of our armrests. That was obviously a lot of fun. I think it's looking great. We're gonna need to go ahead and build 3 more of those. I'm gonna do that later, but for now, I'm gonna jump into the base and show you how to assemble that. So the only difference in our couch and our chair today is gonna be the width. The armrests are both the same on both pieces. So the reason I told you to go ahead and order your cushion in advance is so that you could get it here and get a good measurement. So I'm measuring, I see my cushion's 26 inches wide. For my chair that's just gonna hold 1 cushion, I'm gonna make my base 26 inches. On the couch, I'm gonna have 3 cushions, so I'm gonna multiply 26 by 3 and get 78. So very simple. All we're gonna do is cut up some 2x4s and get to putting that base together. All right, so these are the 4 cross braces for the base and the front and the back. So we've got all the pieces cut. We've got the front and the back support, and then we've got all of these cross braces. We're basically gonna screw it all together and make essentially a ladder. Then we'll apply some webbing for comfort, and then the cushions go on top of that. So the last bit to cut now is just this little 1x2 I bought. We're gonna put it right on the front of the base to dress it up a little bit. This is the base of the chair, and that piece will just fit right on there like that. Just give it a little extra bit of depth. Okay, so I said everything was done cutting, but it's not. I forgot we gotta cut this last 2x12 down for the back. But after that, we'll be done with the cutting for sure. The next step is to move on to staining and then assembling, and that's really when the fun starts to happen. Hopefully you've had some really good friends and maybe some family here to help you with this project. And if so, make sure they don't go too far, because this part, you're definitely gonna need an extra set of hands. Okay, so we're beginning the assembly process now, and I'm gonna do my best to try to kind of walk you through what I'm doing here and how I made the decisions that I did. Starting with the seat height, I just kind of took a look at a bunch of other outdoor furniture to determine how high that was. I came up with a number of 12 inches is where I want the base of my seat to be. So what I've done is I've just measured up 12 inches. I made a mark here. And then I made the decision to set my seats at a 5-degree angle. So I just using my square, I made a mark and then adjusted a 5-degree angle, laid something down as a template, and then just made a mark. That's where my seat base is gonna go. As for the seat back, we also want it to be slightly reclined for comfort. I picked a 10-degree angle there. And the way that I chose to mount that, I'm gonna drill pocket holes in my seat back, here, here, and here, and glue it down, and then we'll just attach it that way. That way there's no mounting hardware, it's super clean, and I think it's gonna be the best look possible. All right, so the final step before we can start enjoying these things is to install the webbing. I picked up this 3-inch elastic webbing off Amazon. It was very inexpensive. I think I spent about 30 bucks for it. I laid it out in a basket we've designed and then just simply used a staple gun to attach it. The thing that I learned here is it's probably best to pull it pretty tight. The first couple I didn't get it really tight enough, and when I put the cushion on, the cushion kind of sank down in. So pull it really tight, go crazy with the staples. Don't be scared to put too many staples in. And then the other tip that I would give is I doubled the elastic up at the ends just to give something a little more substantial to anchor into the base. Once I did that though, I noticed you could kind of see the fold from the front. So I installed this little piece of trim here to kind of cover that up, make it all look nice and neat and pretty.